Welcome back. We're continuing our discussion on indoor environmental quality. And in this video, I want to cover one of the major components of indoor environmental quality, and that's indoor air quality. We'll talk about indoor pollutants, some design strategies to affect indoor air quality, and finally, the connection between indoor air quality and energy efficiency. So let's start out, as always, with the question, why do we care about indoor air quality? Well, it turns out that in our modern society, most people are spending up to 90% of their lives indoors. Only 10% of our time is spent outside. And surprisingly, um, the indoor environment has 2 to 5 times more pollutants than the outdoor environment. When you think about air pollution, you often think about the outdoor environment, but in this category, we're going to be looking at reducing indoor air pollution. So, what are all these pollutants that we're talking about? What's in indoor air? Well, it turns out that your air is full of particles, dust, fibers, pollen, right? There's odors and gases associated with daily life and daily activities. There's volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. These are emitted or off-gassed by products such as paints, glues, adhesives, cleaning supplies, some preservatives, and some of the furniture items. Finally, there's also microorganisms. Can't even say that. There we go. Microorganisms such as bacteria, mold, yeasts, mites, and very apropos here in 2021, virus. There's some interesting data in your textbook about sources of IAQ contamination, right? Adapted from OSHA data. And it turns out that most of the pollutants are due to inadequate ventilation of our homes and our indoor spaces, right? And after that, again, the largest percentage is going to come from sources within the building. Now we know what all these pollutants are and why they're in our building. How can we deal with them? How can we improve our indoor air quality? And the good thing is there's many, many different strategies that work. All right. Um, and I will not read all of these to you. I'll let you pause and take a look and also explore these many strategies in your textbook. You'll notice that there are strategies appropriate to implement during design, all right, during construction, and also during operation of the building. All of the indoor air quality strategies you just saw on the last page are going to fit under 3 general categories or headings, all right? And those are source control, improved ventilation, and air cleaners. Let's take a look, starting with the source control. And what this means is that all of these strategies will eliminate the sources of indoor air pollution, or at least, at the very least, reduce how much is emitted. What does that look like? You could reduce the moisture. You could reduce or eliminate the use of gas-powered cooking equipment. You could specify low VOC products and low or no formaldehyde products. Right. Notice that source control is the first thing you should try. All right. It's the most energy efficient and the lowest cost approach. The next category is improved ventilation. And in general, all of these, the strategies in this category are going to increase the amount of outdoor air coming indoors, right? How could we do this? Well, you can design for natural ventilation. You can design for whole building mechanical ventilation systems. And also you can install local ventilation systems. For residents, this would include hoods over cooking devices and bathroom exhaust fans. The third category of strategies here involves air cleaners. This is only appropriate for particle remover, so removal. So remember all those different types of indoor pollutants? Air cleaners only work for one category, and those are the particles. They don't remove gaseous pollutants, nothing that has an is all about a gas or an odor, and they're also typically not appropriate for removing bacteria and viruses, all right, which are too small to be filtered. So some examples of air cleaners and these kinds of strategies include portable air cleaners or air purifiers, all right? They're going to filter the air that's circulating through a single room or an area. Or filters in your central mechanical system, your central ventilation system, and that's designed to filter air through a whole building. As our last topic here, let's talk about the connection between indoor air quality and energy efficiency. So you've just learned that our goals for indoor air quality are to reduce indoor pollutants and benefit the health of your building occupants. All right. And one of our major tools for this is to increase ventilation in our building. All right. But looking back at the weeks that you learned about energy efficiency, remember that your envelope design um, is meant to prevent heat gain and loss through the envelope, all right? And that ties into how much energy is used to heat and cool the building, and therefore into the overall topic of climate change and greenhouse gases. So, as is kind of usual in sustainable design, you really have to balance these two competing goals and find the right path for your building. And some of the ways you can do this are listed here, some strategies to reduce the heat loss that ventilation will cause in your building. The first one is tighter buildings. All right. We have moved in the last 50 years of construction to tighter and tighter building types. All right. And that means lower infiltration. Infiltration is when air sneaks into your building. All right. And exfiltration. Right. Remember that this comes with a downside of trapping those indoor pollutants and moisture in your buildings. The next strategy is to specify mechanical systems with an economizer setting. And what this does is pays attention to the temperature of the outside air, and when it's energy efficient to use outside air instead of mechanically cooled air, all right, the system will swap over and do that. Finally, there is another strategy and it's called heat recovery. This is a piece of equipment in the mechanical ventilation system which will pass your warm outgoing air with your cold incoming air and transfer the heat without actually transferring any of the pollutants. You've just learned about indoor air quality and some of the design strategies we can use to improve our occupants' health. Thanks, everyone.